Hello and welcome to Totally Casual Gaming. I'm Fontay, and this is week one of the Totally Casual Gauntlet. I've been playing Final Fantasy 15 this past week, and it's been interesting. I've enjoyed it a lot, actually. The length of the game is quite long, so I'm not sure exactly how long this is going to take. But I've gone through 4 chapters in the past week. I don't know how many chapters there are exactly, but if you've played a Final Fantasy game, you know it's quite a long game. So it might be couple more weeks. I might finish it by next week. Depends on how much I get to play it. But I'm just going to kind of talk about how the game is and what I think of the game. It's like a mini review on how far I've gone this week. So I have gotten to, I think, chapter 8, if I'm not incorrect. Not really a spoiler, but I've gotten to the point where you are about to get on the boat. So if you played the game, you know where that's at. The second part, not the first part of the boat where then the city gets taken over. The second one. So first I'm going to talk about the combat. It's a little weird at first. It's different than all other Final Fantasy games because it's real time. It's not turn-based or time-based. I guess like 13 would be time-based. It's real time, so you're just constantly hitting the attack button, and then you can pause it to do potions or items or choose choosing somebody else to do a special action is real time as well. So that's interesting. At first, it's a little weird to get used to, but once you kind of get used to how to dodge and you upgrade some things, once you upgrade it becomes easier because then you can dodge in the air and you get a little bit better at the combat. And so you're able to chain attacks and know how to attack better and also dodge, know when to dodge, kind of see when somebody's going to attack because they don't give you any warning. They just attack. So it takes a little bit to get used to that. It's very, very different from really any other game that I've kind of played. And I don't play hack and slash a lot, so that's why it's different for me. It's very much kind of like if you've ever played a hack and slash, it's kind of like that where they attack you and you just have to know how they're attacking or when they're going to attack or what it looks like, how they're attacking. But upgrades definitely help with that. And let me go into that. So leveling up, you get XP through the day, and then you don't actually apply the XP until you get to the end of the day and you either camp or rest, which I actually really like. It's kind of like... if anybody's ever played D&D, it's kind of like that. You don't get your levels from D&D until you rest in the game. And I actually like that a lot because it kind of makes sense. It's like, okay, then you rest and you kind of go through the day and you... it's kind of like... It's almost similar to life, in the fact of when you sleep, your brain just kind of goes through what you've been doing through the day and you actually learn more. So it's like when I went snowboarding a couple weeks ago... the first day I kind of had trouble getting back into it, but then the second day I was just bam right back into it. So it was like I slept through it, and kind of like remembered a lot of the nuances of snowboarding, the muscle movement and stuff, and was able to snowboard a lot better the second day. So I actually like that a lot, and the upgrade system's really cool because it's different trees, and you have like combat, you have like techniques your people can learn, you have teamwork thing, so like you do more damage when you link strike and stuff like that, and it makes it to where you can level up several different things but not a specific person either. And I haven't figured out how to get clothing equipment yet. I may just have not gone to that area or like figured out that shop or whatever, but most of your stat upgrades you get by leveling up at the end of the day or items, of course. So that's pretty much how that goes. The game is huge. There's a lot of side quests. Most of them are just kind of like go and get this thing and bring it back, or just go do this little thing and come back. I like the hunting quests where you go out and you kill monsters and then you come back and you get the XP for it. And then later on you get the big monsters, the singular monsters, instead of like killing 5 of a certain type. But it also tells you where to go, so you don't have to go and find them all the time. So that's nice. But I like the big monster hunts where you're fighting one giant, basically a boss monster. And those are a lot of fun in like dungeons and stuff as well, which you can find around. And those are where like the special weapons are at that you can use as Noctis. The game is beautiful. It has so much color, so much difference in types of areas depending on where you're at in the world. It's actually pretty big, but you have your, and this gets into the technology, you have your car, which is weird for a Final Fantasy game. The closest thing I think has been like trains that have been similar to our world. Basically, this world is just like our world, except in a kind of like kingdom aspect. So there's kings, and you're playing as the prince. And so it's really interesting because they have cell phones, they have like cars, they have what else do they have? Their ships are different. They're like they're not like airplanes. They're like ships that you typically see in a Final Fantasy game where they're like floating or whatever. But it's interesting how a lot of their technology and stuff is similar to ours, and the buildings look similar, kind of like what you would have here. So it's definitely different, which I actually kind of like too, because then it kind of brings it into like, oh, it's like our world. And you have to like use gas and stuff, so you have to refuel when you get to a station or something, which isn't bad even at first. And then later on, you can upgrade it. Now I use like no gas, so I like rarely have to refuel. The dialogue is good. The dialogue is actually really good. I like it. The voice acting isn't too bad. I think it's just the character of Noctis. I don't necessarily enjoy it a lot, but I think it's just the character he is, where he's kind of like a little pretentious and a little kind of self-centered because he's a prince, and kind of showing that maybe through the game he progresses a little bit, which you do dialogue options so you can make him a little bit more understanding, but I think just his tone is just how he is. I don't know if it's necessarily the voice actor himself that's just kind of meh, but yeah, so there's the dialogue. There is a feature in the game where Prompto, one of your buddies, each of them has their own special thing they like to do. Gladiolus. Yeah, Gladiolus likes to do like just trekking and stuff. So I think as you explore the map, he gets leveled up. Prompto likes to take photos, and I'll get to that in a second, which I really like that feature. And Ignis likes to cook, so at the end of the day, if you're camping, he will cook you a meal, which then you get extra like health or magic or attack depending on what you cook, but he levels up through that. And then Noctis, the main character, likes to do fishing, and that's kind of nice too. It's actually a little fun because it's just kind of like whenever you want to do it, you don't have to do it. And there's like I found an angler fisherman that you got like special stuff from. Like I got a new pole. But it's kind of like a nice change of pace. You kind of see it and you're like, oh, okay. And then you kind of just chill for a minute. But Prompto takes pictures, and that's really nice because at the end of the day, no matter where you stay, you get to see all the pictures that you of like your day, and you get to save them too if you want. So you can see like, oh yeah, I remember fighting that monster. Or, like, oh yeah, I remember going to that place and talking to that person, or and you get to see what you did throughout the day, which is really nice because it's like it's just kind of like a remembrance, and you kind of get to it's really nice. I like it a lot. I like that feature. That's a really smart feature. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. I would guess probably third through the game. I mean, I might be completely incorrect. I don't know how long the game is. I don't know where it ends. So I have no real knowledge of where I'm at. I don't think there's a percentage shown whenever you save or anything either. So another feature is that you get to save anywhere, and it picks up right where you saved, which I know a lot of games have that, but I just really like that feature as well. It's not like some games where you can save anywhere, but then it's like it starts you at a certain place, or you have to go to a certain place and save. But I mean, yeah, and you can't save in combat and stuff, obviously, but other than that, you can save anywhere. So that's really nice. And then also when you're in a dungeon, you can... I think you have to finish I've never tried to leave the dungeon, like go to the entrance before the end of the dungeon, but I know that once you finish it, you can then you can just pause and go straight to the entrance at any time. So that's really nice as well. So it's like, okay, I want to explore a little bit more because sometimes there's little secrets or little items you can find in the dungeon that you may have missed. And then you're like, okay, well, I'm done here. And you can just go to the entrance at any time. You don't have to walk all the way back. And you don't have like only one option at that time. It's like at any point when you're done, or maybe before. I haven't tried it. You can just leave. And so that's pretty much what I think of the game so far. I really like it a lot, actually. I'm having a lot of fun with it. Really enjoying it. I'm glad this was the first game that I got. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Hope you guys enjoy this video. Hope you enjoy my thought processes, and if you have any comments or questions or things you want me to go over about the game, leave them in the comments and I'll get to them. All right, thanks for watching. Bye.